Monday, March 2nd. My mother has just come into my room and said she had something awful to tell me. I sat up in bed and put a dead serious expression on my face just in case she had got 6 months to live or she had been caught shoplifting or something. She fiddled with the curtains, dropped cigarette ash over my Concord model, and started mumbling on about adult relationships and life being complicated and how she must find herself. She said she was fond of me, fond, and would hate to hurt me. And then she said that for some women, marriage was like being in prison. Then she went out. Marriage is nothing like being in prison. Women are let out every day to go to the shops and stuff, and quite a lot go to work. I think my mother is being a bit melodramatic. When Adrian's mother announces that she has something awful to tell him, Adrian assumes that either she's about to die or she has been caught shoplifting. But she tries to make him aware of adult relationships and the issues she's having with his father. She says marriage is like being in a prison for her. But Adrian finds it difficult to understand her. Women can go to the shops every day, many women go to work, and if they have such freedom, why should they think of marriage as being in prison? Adrian looks at the matters from his perspective alone. He doesn't understand his emotional. He doesn't understand the emotional trauma which his mother is going through. He thinks she is being a bit melodramatic. Sunday, March 8th. First in Lent. My mother has gone to a woman's workshop on assertiveness training. Men aren't allowed. I asked my father what assertiveness training is. He said, God knows, but whatever it is bad news for me. We had boil in the bag cod in butter sauce and oven cooked chips for Sunday dinner, followed by tinned peaches and dream topping. My father opened a bottle of white wine and let me have some. I don't know much about wine, but it seemed a pleasant enough vintage. We watched a film on television, then my mother came home and started bossing us around. She said, the worm has turned and things are going to be different around here, and things like that. Then she went into the kitchen and started making a chart dividing all the housework into three. I pointed out to her that I already had a paper to do, an old age pensioner to look after, and a dog to feed, as well as my schoolwork. But she didn't listen. She put the chart on the wall and said, we start tomorrow. Adrian's mother is attending a workshop on assertiveness training, which is a bad news when looked from the perspective of Adrian and his father. As a result of this training, she has become more assertive and she says things are going to be different now. When she divides the household duties into three, Adrian protests, pointing out his other duties, but his mother heeds no attention to his words. Monday, March 9th, Commonwealth Day. Cleaned toilet, washed basin and bath before doing my paper round. Came home, made breakfast, put washing in machine, went to school, gave Barry Kent his menaces money, went to Bert Baxter's, waited for social worker who didn't come, had school dinner, had domestic science, made apple crumble, came home, vacuumed hall, lounge and breakfast room, peeled potatoes, chopped up cabbage, cut finger, rinsed blood off cabbage, put chops under grill, looked in cookery book for a recipe for gravy, made gravy, strained lumps out with a colander, set table, served dinner, washed up, put burnt saucepans into soak, got washing out of machine, everything blue including white underwear and handkerchiefs, hung washing on clothes hose, fed dog, ironed PE kit, cleaned shoes, did homework, took dog for a walk, had bath, cleaned bath, made 3 cups of tea, washed cups up, went to bed. Just my luck to have an assertive mother. In this diary entry, Adrian laments over the fate of having an assertive mother. Unlike other diary entries, here he lists out the works he has done at home: cleaning, washing, and cooking. These are the jobs which mother usually does. But when he does it, it becomes a job. When mother does it, he takes it for granted. For example, he says he washed cups up. Mother washes cups every day, but it remains unrecorded. Nobody counts it. The diary entry humorously describes how inexperienced Adrian is regarding household works. He cut his fingers as he chopped the cabbage, burned the saucepans, ruined clothes while washing it. In the previous diary entry, there is a reference to Adrian and his father sitting at home watching television, eating tin food, and complaining mother for not cooking anything at home. Adrian fails to understand his responsibilities. He thinks within the patriarchal line, which assumes cooking, cleaning, and washing as works of women. Wednesday, March 18th. My mother and father are both speaking to solicitors. I expect they are fighting over who gets custody of me. I will be a tug of love child, and my picture will be in the newspapers. I hope my sports clear up before then. Monday, September 14th, full moon. School dinners are complete crap now. Gravy seems to have phased out along with custard and hot puddings. A typical menu is hamburger, baked beans, chips, carton of yogurt, or a donut. It is not enough to build healthy bone and sinew. I am considering about making a protest to Mrs. Thatcher. It won't be our fault if we grow up apathetic and lacking in moral fiber. Perhaps Mrs. Thatcher wants us to be too weak to demonstrate in the years to come. Apathetic means showing no interest or enthusiasm. This diary entry is also a humorous snippet about Adrian's anxiety about his looks. Since his parents are fighting for his custody, he believes his picture will be soon in the newspaper as a tug of love child, and he wants the spot on his face to disappear before that. Otherwise, he will be pictured in the newspaper with the spot on his face. So the teenager is here worried more about the spot on his face than his broken family. The next diary entry is dated September 14th, that is after 6 months, and he is still worried about his diet and health, and he complains about the school dinners. Friday, November 13th. Pandora and I had a frank talk about our relationship tonight. She doesn't want to marry me in 2 years' time. She wants to have a career instead. Naturally, I am devastated by this blow. I told her I wouldn't mind her having a little job in a cake shop or something after our wedding. But she said she intended to go to university and that the only time she would enter a cake shop would be to buy a large crusty. Harsh words were exchanged between us. Hers were harsher than mine. Sunday, January 10th. First after Epiphany. I can't understand why my father looks so old at 41 compared to President Reagan at 70. My father has no work or worries, yet he looks dead haggard. Poor President Reagan has to carry the world's safety on his shoulders, yet he is always smiling and looking cheerful. It doesn't make sense. Pandora is an ambitious girl. She wants to pursue her education. She intends to go to university, and so she doesn't want to marry Adrian in 2 years' time. But Adrian wonders why she wants to pursue her studies if she can get a job in a cake shop or something after their wedding. This is yet another humorous snippet that exposes Adrian's chauvinistic thoughts. Sunday, January 10th. This diary entry is dated January 10th, so almost 1 year has passed since the first diary entry. It is first after Epiphany, that is, it is the first Sunday after this year's Epiphany. Adrian compares his father with President Reagan. Ronald Reagan was the 40th president of the US from 1981 to 1989. Remember, Townsend's book was published in 1982. The president has to carry the world's safety on his shoulder. He is in his 70s, yet he is always looking cheerful. Whereas Adrian's father is just 41, he has no work or worries, but he looks so old. And Adrian, he comments that this doesn't make any sense.